There we go. All righty. Excuse me. Sorry. I guess I'm in the throat there, but I have been gone a while, and um, I am happy to be here again and to show you guys some cool stuff. So this is the Cobb NextGen Flex Fuel setup in this car. This car is mostly stock, actually. It is a 2012 STI with a Cobb SF and a fuel pump, and then it's got fuel rails, injectors, and regulator, and the Cobb NextGen Flex Fuel with the fuel pressure um, monitoring. And that's it. So um, I got to tune on pump gas first, and then drain the tank because it showed up with way too much fuel. It's got a half tank in it. And then after I drain that, throw some ethanol in it and do some more tuning on the flex and see what the mostly stock car can do. Wow, my watch didn't charge last night. It says it's dead now. Okay. Hey, man, how's it going? Dino is one of the students in my Discord. So, uh, welcome. I think you've only ever caught, like, what, one live stream before? And man, something's really in there. What time is it where you're at? Like, you're in, what was it again? United Arab Emirates? Is that where you were? UAE? And so what's that? That's that like 16 hours ahead of us? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or maybe 13-ish. I'm trying to think of what time zone that's in. But that's quite a bit ahead of me. Because what's 8 to Greenwich, and then yeah, I think there's like 5 more time zones to you, I think. So, welcome. So this is like I said, 2012 STI. It's got just the Cobb stuff on it. Like that's it. Not a whole lot of stuff going on with it really, and that should make it fun. 2240. Really, that's it? Okay, so it's 11. 10 hours. Really, only 10 hours to UAE from here? Hmm. Okay, 10 hours. um, for my thermodynamics class. Nice. I wish I could read the hell it says. This YouTube thing puts this uh, thing. First law analysis for engineering devices. Okay. Yeah, so my chat window has this thing that I have to. It's an emoji button, but it covers up what people write. So I often miss half what they say until someone else says something to push it up so I can read the whole thing. It's dumb that has this emoji button covering things. So June T plus 3. Okay, right. And I'm 8. So that makes sense. So 11. Wait, but it's 2240. Oh, maybe because daylight savings. I think I'm 7 now because of daylight savings. That makes sense. All right. Man, sorry guys. Sorry about the phlegminess there. Something's really bugging my throat. Just started happening. I just ate, so apparently something I ate is getting at me. So anyways, here we are. Okay, so I'm in the Cobb software here. I'll just do this load compensation table here because it has fuel rails with dampers, an aftermarket regulator, and all of that. So this table is pretty much not going to be used because this setup is very much, or this table is basically based on resonance in the fuel rails and the fuel system because they have that deadhead system that really sucks. So that's what this table is really about. And what's interesting is you see like this region from factory, it's got really high corrections in it. And that intrigues me because I have found that fuel pump speed affects um, the issue with the resonance. And I'm not totally sure why that is because it's a deadheaded fuel rail system on the GR anyways. So it's really interesting. I've been trying to kind of figure that one out. But where the fuel pump speeds up is where the biggest, um, corrections are. But also because of the RPM, right? But what's interesting though is as you change injector size, the RPM changes. So, like 1050s, the leanest spots usually like in the 28 to 3 range, and then 1300s, the leanest spots like the 28 to 26 range, right? And as the injectors get bigger, that spot kind of moves a little bit, and so the resonance is affected by that. And if you think about that, that kind of makes sense if the if the injector is open for a shorter period of time, it's going to change the resonance. Now, I would think that it would be like a shorter period of time would be a higher frequency. How does that work? I guess the frequency is the same. It's just the duration of the pulse width. So, anyways, yeah, it's interesting to think about the resonance in the fuel rails. But because this fuel rail has a large volume, and with the large volume, it also has the large dampers in the rail, and then also has a larger diaphragm and larger regulator, um, the resonance is pretty non um, a non-factor. Now, what I did find interesting though is for some reason this one it has a fuel pressure rise that is higher than typical. It's got a 4 regulator, and usually when you increase fuel pump speed on the 4, like there's almost no increase in pressure. But this one there is, and it's like 7 pounds. So that's intriguing to me. It makes me wonder if it's the regulator or if it is the um, the fuel basket, right? Because a lot of these that we put the regulator on have the radium jet pump in them, but this one's got a factory jet pump in it with the 4 regulator. So I'm curious if I was to log pressure in the return line after the regulator, if I saw that it went up, because I mean, I know that it does go up. I'm curious if that's the issue that we're seeing on it, is why the pressure is not as steady as it should be. Um, so that, or because this car has the regulator mounted to the driver's side rail. It was a different way. Lane wanted to give it a shot, and so it's basically on the rail in one of the ports off the side of it. I think one of the damper ports or something. So it could also be because of that. So we'll see if that becomes any issues at all during the tuning. I doubt it will be. Honestly, it should be pretty fine. It's KSA, but that's close enough. KSA. What's KSA? KSA. So Saudi Arabia. But what's the K stand for? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I got a question. Anyone know how to log out of one email account on your freaking Google? I had a customer use my laptop. He logged in his email to get something, and now his email always logs into my shit. But the only option I have on Google is to log out of all email accounts. I don't want to do that. I just want to log out of that one and like stop having this guy's email pop up on my screen. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know why these guys gotta make everything hard. They think they're making it easy, but they're making it hard. Really, in this modern age of convenience, things are really inconvenient. It's a little irritating. We'll move this a little bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So now that you've been coughing in your ear this whole time for a long time, I got to turn down this mic gain because it keeps peaking. Try that. There we go. Okay, so now in here I have a base map. Nothing fancy, just some regular values. I did forget to zero out the wastegate duty cycle though before I started this, so let's go to wastegate duty cycle and zero that out now. Zero that out. Like I said, this is a base map, and with some generic values in it from a previous tune, and we just want to see that everything is working. Oh shoot, not even connected. I screwed all that up. Turn this off. Let me save this. Save that. That's one thing I really dislike about this Cobb system here. The fact that you have like disconnect to do certain things and reconnect to do other things, and it's just super annoying. And then this whole thing, I don't know if you guys see the when you're not the initializing tables, it's always initializing tables. And I don't understand. When you're not connected to the freaking computer, the ECU is still initializing tables. Initializing, it takes forever. It's so annoying. Now, that being said, it could be this laptop. This laptop, while it's new, has been very problematic. One of the reasons that I haven't been streaming lately is I've been gone a lot. And I was just in Denver in a car, and the first day was effing miserable because my laptop would not talk to the Mtron correctly. It just wouldn't do it. It was weird. Um, I would have issues where all of a sudden starts idling really poorly. For example, I'm like, why is it idling so bad? What the hell's going on? I didn't break it. Like I was just checking this, feature, and I can't find anything. I can't find anything that shows me why it's idling poorly. And then I noticed, hey, wait a second, my O2 sensor's not working. I'm not in closed loop. Why am I not in closed loop? And it says, so I go to the status for the closed loop system that says locked out for this feature. And I'm like, why is it locked out? Like, and the feature in this case was flame control. So closed loop goes open loop when flame control kicks on. Well, I didn't turn on flame control, but it was on. And I look and it was set for a 10% cut. So I go to my flame control map, the table in it, and it's set to all zeros, which I just done like 5 minutes prior because it was cutting the engine. And I verify that I'm connected to the ECU, and that's fine. And it says 0 in the map, but it's showing me in the status 10% cut. So I select the whole map and I punch in 0. Boom. Car idle's fine. Status reports 0% cut. Like, the fuck? Like, the map was all zeros. And for some reason, the Mtron wasn't running off the map that it was showing me. And that was really concerning. I mean, you blow motors up that way, right? Like, if something is not in there that you're looking at, right? I'm looking at this number and it is, oh, okay, this should be a 10. And I do a poll and it's a freaking 30, right? Then I can blow an engine up and it's not my freaking fault. That'd be terrible. So I'm really upset with what it was doing. But what was crazy about that is it did the exact same thing with this new Cobb software on a 21 WRX that I was tuning with the new FlexGen stuff a couple days before. Now, what's even crazier about that is that the Cobb uses a USB to the access port, and the Mtron uses Ethernet. It connects to the Mtron via Ethernet, and you assign an IP address on your Ethernet port. And yet, somehow, both the Cobb and the Mtron had the exact same issue where they weren't operating off of the values that I was being shown. So, that's a significant issue. And because of that, I will be going to buy a new laptop. What's crazy though is this laptop's only like 2 years old, maybe. So I shouldn't need a new laptop. Like that kind of stuff should work. But this laptop has just been so problematic with so many things that I'm going to just get another one. And it will not be a Lenovo. I don't think I ever buy a Lenovo again because all my Lenovo laptops have issues. And I don't know. But to be fair, all my stuff has issues because it's me, because I own it. Electronics and me, for some reason, don't get along. Okay. Oh, I don't think you can see my log menu. My log window. Let's see. You cannot. Let's see if I get the Cobb logger. That's not the Cobb logger. I get the Cobb logger for you guys. This. That one? Here we go. And then we bring this up. Why did they get rid of that button? I used to be able to take it and click on it to bring it up. Now I have to like drag it up. Ugh. There it goes. All right. I'm gonna slide this down right here. Like that. All right. All right. So I'm looking at this here. First off, it strikes me as odd as I have total trims of 5 point something. So that's the combination of my instantaneous correction and my learning. You'll see my learning is -6, therefore my instantaneous correction is like +1, and my total is -6, -7 now. Now that's kind of weird because I have the Cobb data, I have all that stuff in here for what this car has, and I also have the fuel pressure comp. So but the fuel pressure is only zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.2 higher than it's supposed to be. So I don't really see why I'd have hold 6%. Now I'm not too worried about 6%. To be honest with you, I try and tune all my cars honestly, like 3 to 5% rich, because basically the idea is if something happens and it goes up a loop, like an O2 sensor fails or something happens like that, I don't want it to be so close to stoic that it can be lean and misfire and stuff. So I do everything like 3 to 5% rich, so that in the event of sensor failures or issues, it just goes boop, a little rich, and the car is not misfiring. They run really smooth and nice and all that. And I let the closed loop system pull back that 5%. Now, when there's a learning uh, function like this, we have AF learning. Well, it takes out that 5%. It goes away. Um, but in standalones, where the learning is only from key cycle to key cycle, um, then that means that 5% stays in. Then the short term pulls it out. It'll learn it, as it's driving, and then it'll be good. But then if they turn it off and turn it on again, they start it, and there's an issue with the O2 sensor, that learning gets reset, and it gets back to being 5% too rich. So um, basically, there's no harm in doing it, and frequently the ECUs just compensate for it right away. But like I said, it's nice to have that safety margin. Plus on the top end, too, like it's definitely advantageous to have a little extra fuel on the top end. Um, for safety's sake, keep it together. First law of thermo. Okay. That reminds me. Um, I was thinking about something today when I was in the shower, and it wasn't bikinis. Just like these are wondering. And it was very conservation energy heat, right? Which is what you're doing, right? Conservation energy is first law of thermo. So when people double the horsepower output of an engine without doubling the air density, and also while adding a load, it makes me angry because they're not doubling the horsepower, right? So there's guys with like side by sides and shit like that will say, "Oh, we put 7 or 10 pounds of boost on it," and then they claim it adds 110 horsepower or something. Well, 110 was stock; it's what it made at your current atmosphere. And then you're saying that without even doubling, only adding 50% more air density, they doubled the horsepower output. How does that work? And then they also added the load from a turbocharger, which takes horsepower to make horsepower. And I I want to call all those guys out all the time because it's clearly bullshit. Did I shut the front of this down? I don't think I did. I don't remember shutting the front down. Did someone else do it for me? Apparently I did. Oh yeah, I was talking to that kid on the phone. That's why he called me. Okay. So you want to talk about conservation of energy? Somehow I am making more energy than I'm using in that person's world, right? And I'm pretty sure I've looked at the compressor maps and turbo maps of a lot of turbos, and not a single one of them was over 100%. I mean, that would really be something, right? Like if it's 100%. Now, they've had vehicles with a VE over 100%, but that's for a supercharging effect. That's usually because there's resonance tuning associated with that. Um, but it isn't like, how do I say this? But you lose a lot of that, and it's usually in the realm of like 3% of resonance tuning is what you can get, like 3% more air fuel or volumetric efficiency. Well, that's rich right there. 12%. This thing doesn't have a blow off valve, but it's acting like it does. Look at that. When I let off, right there, it's behaving like I got a blow off valve. Huh. Oh, it's weird. Math doesn't indicate high either, though. Like, it's coming down when I let off. So why am I getting these? Why am I getting these spikes? That's peculiar. Okay. All right, I set the tach for the dyno here. It's bringing it to 60 miles an hour. We're 60. Check engine speed, 3650, 3700. Yep, that's what it usually is. I set the dyno tach. There's always small discrepancies in that based on tire size and all that. All right, like this. Let's bring up my air fuel. Then I'm gonna bring up my manifold pressure. And then I'm gonna do a wastegate level full. Pretty confident everything else is set up correctly, so that's why I'm gonna go to that right away. I almost hit F8. I go through Mtron. Now, if you can see the log there, you will see that it was indeed a quiet run. There was no knock or anything, but my air fuel was rich as balls. It says 10-1 over there. All right, so something's going on. If I'm rich everywhere, that seems weird. We got fuel pressure comp on there. Fuel pressure is exactly at target. Fuel pressure is also where the injectors are set at. Ethanol should be where it was. It was 10.3, right? Not where I was reading a second ago. Yep, 10.3, just like that. Why is it so rich? When I let off, I have a rich trend. Yeah, see, the log is fine. Fuel pressure is within half a pound the entire pole. Ignition advance is 12.5 at peak and 26 by redline, which is fine because we're talking a whopping 8.5 pounds of boost. Boost is 8.8 pounds at redline and 9.85 at peak torque. Now, again, we're at wastegate pressure on a stock turbo and all that, so that is good. Throttle is 100%, but I'm still really rich. Okay, well, let's see. Did I check? Did I even bring out my open loop table? Probably not. Open loop table is set to be 10-1. Okay, well, there we go. 10.12 at the top end and 10.5 at peak, between 11 and 10.5 at peak. That makes sense. Makes sense. Oh, other names popped up. There we go. My mic is cutting out a bit. Fixed itself somehow. Maybe because it was clipping and I turned it down. Maybe that's why. No BOV like it's capped off. No, this has got a factory valve on it. Yeah, no, it was a freshly installed one. I watched Lane install a factory bypass valve in this thing, in the hose and all of that. So I was wondering, but I've seen a lot of discussion between people just not running any kind. Yeah, I mean, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. I mean, it's not beneficial. I mean, I'm trying to think where to start. It's a pet peeve of mine when people don't run a valve. And I'll tell you why. I have all of this air. We'll say I got a front mount, just because. All this air traveling through this tube, 2.5 inch, 2 3/4, 3 inch, whatever it is going into the engine. Goes the tube, comes around the corner, goes up the throttle body. And it's moving at a high rate of speed. And if I'm making 500 horsepower, I got 500, um, at, well, like 500 of the wheels, we'll say. I got like 500 grams per second of air moving, right? So I got a amount of air moving through that pipe. And I shut the throttle body. All that air has to stop. And air has weight. I mean, it's 500 grams per second, for example, right? There's inertia there. You put your hand out the window going on the freeway, the wind pushes at your hand because the air is stationary and your hand is moving. And you're feeling the weight of the air that you're displacing with your hand. Well, think about that. That's at 60 miles an hour. The air in your pipe is going a lot faster than that. So I've got this really fast moving, relatively heavy airflow through this pipe. I shut it, and it all has to stop. So I get this huge wave. The air is running. It's like water hammer in your pipes. Bam! You shut it. Boom! And it has to reflect back. The energy has to go somewhere, right? The energy is there. It has to go somewhere. That wave goes back. The air stalls out. And that wave travels until something dissipates it. Hits the front mount, dissipates some in the front mount. But the air before the front mount also has to come to a stop, which means the air in the turbo has to come to a stop. So now the turbocharger stalls because the air suddenly stops. And just like an airplane flying through the air, any airfoil flying through the air or moving through the air, you have an angle of attack by which the air flow over the blade or the wing itself is laminar and smooth and appropriate, just like in a turbocharger. It's just a bunch of wings traveling through the air, right? And then I stall it, and the angle of attack of the wing in the airstream becomes too steep that it stalls out, like an airplane. So now I have this pressure gradient across the turbocharger fins that wasn't there before. And what happens when a wing stalls? It accelerates. So the turbocharger speed spikes up for a second. The thrust that was on the blades, because before you had positive pressure on one side, think about air, a wing flying through the air. You got positive pressure here, you got low pressure here. That's a thrust, right? That's lift on an airplane. In a centrifugal compressor, that's thrust on the shaft. I have all this thrust, and then bam, it's gone. And I speed it up. Doesn't matter if you have no thrust and then you add thrust, or if you have tons of thrust and you remove thrust, right? That is a fast delta across whatever is handling that thrust. In this case, it's the blades, it's the compressor wheel, it's the shaft, it's the thrust bearing in the turbocharger, preventing all those things from pushing their way out the front of the turbocharger. Now all of a sudden, it's gone. Boom! And it goes back. And you can hear when the air stalls, right? Turbo goes, right? Because now you're stalling out this turbocharger. You're putting thrust on the thrust bearing. You're rattling everything inside there. Totally unnecessary. Like you said, unnecessarily abusive. Needlessly abusive, you said. Well, that pressure wave doesn't just hit the turbo. It hits the intercooler tanks. And if you've ever seen a blown out intercooler in tank, well, it's probably from that. I've seen many in tanks blow. The aluminum right at the well, poof, just blow wide open. Big pressure wave. Those pressure waves are large. They tear through things. Or they blow pipes off. The pipe blows right off the coupler and your throttle bar. pops off, or behind your bumpers, now you get a boost you didn't even know existed. Like all kinds of stuff. Now that's just in like the risk and damage department. But what about performance wise? How does that affect you? Well, we had fast moving air that was going into the engine. I shut the throttle blade. The air stops. I reopen the throttle blade. I now have to accelerate that air again, right? There is a delay in accelerating that air again, especially if that pressure wave is still moving its way down the other way, towards the turbo. So performance-wise, I have now created poorer response. And a lot of guys will be like, "Oh, they respond better." I'm like, shut the fuck up. They definitely don't respond better. Now, if you have an improperly placed bypass valve, like I would say, like an EFR turbo, then you still have all those issues except for the stalling in the compressor. You still have the end tank suffering from a pressure wave. You still have the air stalling out in the intercooler pipe stopping. You still have the possibility of blowing up end tanks or hoses and all that kind of stuff. Like I've seen it a ton of time with EFRs. Turbo's fine though, for the most part. So in a lot of EFR cars, I run both the EFR internal bypass and a blow-off valve or bypass valve, depending on what kind of engine management we have. But that's important. It's important because I want that air to keep moving in the same direction. That's why I put the bypass valve or blow-off valve as close to the throttle body as possible. When I lift, it opens. The air can continue to travel in almost the same direction. The air in the pipe doesn't see a difference, right? It's only the air that comes up the throttle body that sees a difference as what it was doing before. So now the air through the pipe keeps moving towards the engine, continually moving towards the engine. The inertia, the velocity, it's all still moving through the pipe. And then when I open the throttle body again, the air is already moving. It feeds the engine way faster than if I had to reaccelerate all that air all over again. So not running a valve, not only is it bad for your components, it's bad for performance. All right, I'm back online again. Let's see, I'm closing that window because I want to check that. Why is it on again? I thought I just turned it on. What happened? Wait, I just got 8 pounds of boost, and I had my wastegate duty cycle. I thought I said it's 0. This says it's not. This says now it's 40 something. What happened to it? What's going? Oh no, I don't understand what's going on here. Did I do that? But now I'm concerned. What was my log say it was? Wait a second, because that means that if it was at 40 and I just got 8 pounds of boost, something ain't freaking right. Let me go find that log again. What do I do with it? Man, I got a freaking sciatic nerve pain going on. It is hurting. It is a hurt. Holy shit, I hate Windows 11. Oh man, so bad. Where my documents folder go? Just gone. We don't care. You need a documents folder. Who needs that shit? All right, it's not. Jesus fuck. Did I say I hate Windows 11 yet? Yeah, wastegate was 60 fucking percent. That's nice. I'm glad. I'm glad that it was fucking, or 40%, that it was 40%, and I only made 9 pounds of boost. Great. Just more fucking problems all the time. Anyone ever seen Lucifer, the TV show Lucifer? I really enjoy. I read some of these comments real quick. Smash press blades and that was Baron. So yep, watch this one below the plastic then takes off a new cooler. Yep. W11 is terrible. Oh, and I'm sorry, the Fire Explorer 11 is the worst. Dude, it's so fucking bad, man. It's so bad. And I just click on home or whatever, and it's like, I'm working on it. Give me a minute. It's like it's going to the internet to find my shit, even though it's supposed to be right here on my laptop. It's fucking terrible, man. It's so bad. I hate it. I feel like I'm in a hell loop. I'm a little disgruntled lately. I feel like I'm in a fucking hell loop. To be honest with you. I did another podcast with Flatirons Tuning day before yesterday when I was there. Real short one because I had to catch flight, and we were talking about some cool stuff. Um, and I thought I disabled OneDrive in 11, and I don't know how to fully disable it because they don't want you to do it, so it's just fucking miserable. But yeah, so I'm at Flatirons. I did a 45-minute podcast with them, and we're talking about the industry and engines and all that. But the very beginning, I said something, and I've been keeping some stuff to myself for a while, and I want to talk about it a smidge. And that is, I do not like how fragmented our industry has become, how it's become all these little factions of different misinformation and ego. And I am actively working to try and bring some unity back to it. I don't know if it's going to work. I know that society is becoming very fractured and society is kind of broken. Facebook is pretty much single-handedly ruined the car community. The by taking away from forums. I mean, if you think about it, right? Before, if I wanted information on a Subaru, well, there was a few forums to go to, but the obvious one, the largest one was NASIOC, North American Subaru Owners Club, or Subaru Impreza Owners Club. And you would go to NASIOC and you go, I want to know about my turbos. And you go to the freaking engine force induction section and you can read about stuff and you can have you can ask a question and somebody can answer it. And then you would see that thread and you see that response and you could look at the person and go, oh, that person's member number is 10,768. That's my number. And my original one. And they've made a couple thousand posts. This person's been a member since this place started. They probably have an idea what they're talking about. And then you see someone else has 2 posts and they come in and tell you something opposite of the guy with 10,000. And you go, that guy probably doesn't know what he's talking about. But there was a level of credibility that was easy to audit. It was right there in front of you. There was implied credibility with seniority in the server and post counts, time there, and all of that. Now, sure, there are guys that were there for a long time that were full of shit, and you would see some of that. But those people tended to get rebutted frequently by other people that weren't so full of shit. Anyways, what I'm getting at is now with Facebook, you have all of these little pages. Everyone wants to have a page. Everyone wants to be the emperor of their dominion, of their digital dominion. I am the emperor of my digital dominion. And they control the information, and well, not even that. The format of it alone is anti-information. It's anti-retention of information. It's very much just a stock ticker in front of your face with made-up numbers the entire time. And the people who are talking, you have no way of knowing if they're credible. When you ask a question, you get advice from all kinds of people. Most of them have no clue what they're talking about. And there's no way to establish any sort of rank of what you read and said, oh, well, this one guy said this, but 17 guys said this other thing. Well, the one guy could be the right guy. The one guy could be me. Not that I'm always right, but I could be the most experienced person in the room, and 17 people just read something else online and were confused about it. So the old forum format was way better for the car community. It was way better for the proper dissemination of factual information versus right now it's just a bunch of fractured places with misinformation spreading like wildfire. And, no organization. I mean, why else would you see the same question every day, 5 times a week, on these things? Facebook is terrible for the car community. It really is. Working a labor job for local water works, and it's a shit show every day. Gotta have non-destructive testing job when COVID hit and started over. They just don't do their due diligence. Not keeping people's accountable, see protocols for maintenance. It just doesn't happen. Who are you talking about? I'm confused. Um, so, oh, the hell loop. Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like it's the same questions, it's the same misinformation, it's the same ideas getting passed around. I mean, there are so many ideas about who I am that get passed around from people who have never talked to me, who have never seen me, who have never watched my videos. They just heard from some guy who said I was an asshole, who heard from some other guy who said I was an asshole, who heard from some guy who said I was an asshole. That kind of thing. This propagated thing. Um, and it's messed up. It's messed up. All you need is the right mouthpiece and the right platform, and you can skew um, the perceived reality versus the actual reality. You can create something that doesn't even exist, like a stock engine doing 1,200 wheel horsepower, stuff like that. So, anyways, the fragmented nature and all of that has really been getting to me, and I've really been brainstorming ways to try and unite the community again. I have some events that I'm planning. I have things that I'm doing. I'm talking to other shops, and I'm trying to get more unity in the car community um, because I care about it. So there's going to be resistance. There's going to be people that call me names and say I'm just trying to do X or Y or whatever. But the fact of the matter is I care about the Subaru community. The Subaru community is my community. That's how I feel about it. I've been in it for 24 plus years now. And so when people spread misinformation or take advantage of people in my community, I get a little possessive about it, and I try to stick up for my Subaru guys and my car guys in general, but more so the Subaru guys than anybody else, really. And I feel like it needs to be fixed. So I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to figure out something I can do to um, to help bring things together. Dude, yeah, attention span, big time. That's absolutely true. Mark says Facebook has warped people's attention span, and I miss build threads and forums because people don't understand how much time and work goes into making something work right. That's true, 100% true. You know what? I'm gonna take this duty cycle and I'm gonna go really high. I'm gonna go really high with it, just real quick. I'm gonna give it a little bit of throttle and see if my boost even goes up. Because the fact that I had basically wastegate pressure at 39% wastegate duty cycle makes me feel like my wastegate's not getting power. And that's where that part of that hell loop comes in too. Like every car's got a freaking issue for some reason. Oh, I got 12 pounds. Wow, 38% gave me 9 pounds. That is concerning. So does 100% give me 12 pounds. That is also concerning. Wow. Okay, why is that's not working? God damn it. Fuck you, Windows. Oh, apparently it didn't register when I hit it. Let's try it again. Log. There we go. Wow, that's not beneficial. Alright, so clearly I have a boost leak. I don't know how bad it is, but clearly I have one. Because I've got 70% wastegate duty cycle, and I'm hitting 12 pounds of boost, and my air fuel ratio is richer than balls 10. Yes, here's 70, 67, 69. To get to 14 pounds, man, that is a lot of duty cycle only at 14 pounds. And I realize it's the factory boost control solenoid, the factory boost control lines. So it's not going to be like the most responsive setup, but that's definitely concerns me. Fuel pressure final, fuel pressure looks good. Yeah, okay, let's look at my math. Let's see if my math is off. Maybe it's not. Let's see what the math goes to. Oh, 247. And what did we make? 205? Yeah, I made 205. And it said 247 for my airflow. Now, 247 at 13, was this 14 pounds? Where'd it go? 14 pounds at 6,500. That's actually not that far off, honestly. That part's not that far off. Still kind of trying to figure out what the hell's going on, though. Commanded fuel was still 10.5. Oh, that's right, because that wasn't connected earlier. Man, that seems like a lot of duty cycle to get no boost. Something's not quite right. That is for sure. Let me do a few more changes and take a few more logs and see what we get. Maybe I'll figure something out. First, I'm going to have the fuel. Because like I said, right now my fuel is pegging out my air fuel meter. My air fuel meter only goes to 10. So, it could be 10, right? It could be a little bit above that, a little bit below that or something. So I'm just going to lean this whole section out. Just going to do a little smoothing action on it. Boom, big and ugly. Block tuning. Let's do some block tuning here. Leaning that on a bunch. All right, so leaning that a lot. And let's see where it goes in the end. It's not correct. Obviously, you see there's a big dip in there. There's a big hole at the top. All of that. It's not a well done fuel map. That's just we're trying to figure out what's going on here. I just want some data so I can. Oh wait, I think I heard a hiss. Yeah, I think I heard a hiss. Not a big one, but a little bit of a hiss. 215 it said. So 215 wheel horsepower is what I'm getting at the wheels on that last pull, and my mass airflow was 247 again. That's a big difference. I like that it was consistent though. It was 247 twice in a row. So if there is a leak, then it is a small consistent leak, like a hose not connected or something like that. A small hose. It's not gonna be a big leak. It's not gonna be a intercooler, end tank, or any of that kind of stuff. Again, it was knock free. Ignition advance is pretty conservative. I know you guys can't see the logs. I'm telling you a little bit. So at peak boost, that was 11 degrees, and at the top end, it was 22. Yeah.
I know we just talked about this the other day, but FA20WX dam drops to 0.75 when cruise control's on the highway.
With air conditioner on, probably.
Huh?
With the AC on, probably, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, you're cruising. How much damage you can do while cruising? Yeah, knock doesn't have any power, right? If you think about, if it is somehow actually knocked, the amount of energy available in the cylinder to do damage is minuscule.
Yeah.
For one, knock doesn't happen until about 20 degrees after top dead center. You've already burned half, if not more than half, of the mixture that's in there. And your duty cycle when cruising is like 8%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's half of 8% left in the cylinder to rapidly combust and try and create damage or whatever, right? Piston's already moving down a smidge because it's 20 degrees and all that. I'm going to say that it's not a concern in the world of engine damage or anything like that. It's just going to be a concern, and if it doesn't go back up, but he's losing power, if that's his concern. But he's not hurting anything with it.
It's a completely stock car too.
Yeah. I mean,
it just has the stage 1 map access ports in.
Yeah. Well, if he had no access port on there, and he knew that his dam was 0.4 to 0.6 driving around normally, he'd probably be really surprised. But from the factory, those dams are 0.4 to 0.6 without a tune on them.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They're really, really low. So, no, none of that concerns me. You know, if it doesn't go up when he gets on it or whatever, he's just losing some power. But that by itself isn't any damning information. What year is it?
17 or 18, I think.
Okay. Well, don't forget the injector thing. So if he has weird trims or something, you know, those injectors, we've done a bunch of those, right?
His photo of it says 14.3 AFR with the dam at 7.5, but it doesn't show me when it's running or anything. So I was like,
photos of access ports are completely worthless. I tell people to take them and show them their ass. Don't send me a photo. There's no context in it.
Send me a photo of your asshole.
Yeah, you get more out of it.
Yeah, it'd be more beneficial.
Yeah, no, export photos are pointless.
Well, I'll tell him that, and then I'll take it for a test drive, see if it feels weird, and then that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
He doesn't know anything.
That's fine. Most people don't.
No, I mean, he's not saying he knows anything. He just said he heard it was bad to have it drop, so he wanted us to check it out.
No, it's an FA for one, not an EJ. So if it was, the FA dam system is extremely, extremely sensitive. So if dam drops happen all the time in the FA, like there's like no overlap between the two engines in engine management stuff. Like the only thing that is just like the dynamic advanced tables format is similar, and like that's fucking it. So the sensitivity is different.
When people try to say that, like, you know, oh, like my buddy's STI or something, and I'm like,
doesn't apply.
Might as well be a different manufacturer.
Yeah, doesn't apply. It's got 4 pistons that are horizontal. That's it.
Yep. I've said that. I said the only thing that they share is the general architecture of the block. But I was like, even the heads they share nothing with. So.
Yeah.
Not geometry, not design,
not cooling, not oil, not fuel, not air, not anything. Not locations and shit. Like nothing's the same. So there's a crank in the middle.
And then go test drive it.
Okay, there's a crank in the middle. That's the similarities.
If you want to fill him in.
So this thing is something's weird with this. So it takes 40% duty cycle to get to 9 pounds of boost. It's rich as bizzles, and it takes 70% to get to 15 pounds of boost, and it's like off the scale rich when I command 11.5. Both of those seem like boost leak, but small hose boost leak or small leak because
is that boost gauge working?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, there is a T on the bottom line.
I thought I heard a hiss on the last pole. So it would be like a small leak if there's anything you could think of for that. Because the total mass airflow was consistent. It was high, but it was consistent between 2 poles. So is there anything you could think of line-wise that could have come off?
PCB, that?
No, I don't think so. If it was, we'd have a huge mess. The dipstick would pop out. Um, bypass valve kind of works.
Bypass that was brand new.
Yeah, no, I just meant like it kind of works.
Brand
Like
new gas tube.
I hear it goes choo 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 a little bit, because that tube. Where's the fuel pressure reference? Factory?
Off the nip on the side.
Okay, that's fine. So we didn't change the reference point for that. Okay.
Yeah, factory reference for it.
Okay.
Brake booster hose is on normal. All I do is pull the manifold off, pull the fuel lines off, and put the manifold
Okay.
I'll check it here. Ejector?
Maybe. I mean, no, because it would misfire at idle too, and it's not. No, he means like injector O-ring on the outside for the atmosphere. So I don't know. Talk to the guy. Think about something to come back. Mark says, I think one of the big issues with how media generally is based on clickbait, with influencers trying to outclick each other's versus just doing good, consistent work. Yeah, but you shouldn't be going to influencers as your primary source of data. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it depends on the data. Like, if you like right now, you can ask me a question and we can talk about it because I'm live streaming. But most influencers don't live stream. Most influencers are there for clickbaits, but they don't also provide all the data, right? Like, you're not gonna. I don't know. I feel like it's just a matter of the database is corrupted, doesn't exist anymore.
Do you have something going on or something?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Lane saw you filling him in, and I was gonna walk away, but I didn't know if there's.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he was talking about the WRX or this or what. I don't know.
Oh, it's just not check.
Okay, yeah. Now again, this does have factory boost control solenoid, so it does take a little bit to do cycle through stuff. But like I've got my fuel map here. I'm gonna check a few things. Let's see. Ethanol says 10.3. Injector scale is 2658 at 0%, which puts it at 2764 or whatever at 10%, which is where we're at. Latency is that's correct. 14 is 9.2. That is correct. Math calibration. It is an SF. It goes to 501. That's correct. 103 here, 501 there, and the smooth curve. Yep, that's an SF cal. Those are the biggest sources of like fueling, right? Immediately right off the bat. Let's check. Minimum's 0.4. Well, that wouldn't affect us on the top end. And it looks like the right curve for my small pulse width. That's all normal there. This should be zeroed out. That should be zeroed out. Up top, it's not zeroed out on bottom, so I need to zero that on the bottom too. I realize the significance of saying you shouldn't be relying on influencers to get your information, and then people ask me stuff. But I wouldn't consider myself an influencer by any stretch. And I've been here the whole time just to provide a service more than entertainment. Yeah, I've got a couple funny videos, but overall, like comedy and click stuff isn't like my primary method. I mean, I wish I had a larger following, and I wish I had more reach than I do, just so that I could help. But like my motivator for doing that is to help the community and this information versus just to destroy things to get rich. Like that's one thing I hate about some of the influencers that like they claim to be car guys and then they'll just ruin stuff on purpose for the clicks. And that to me is just so hypocritical that I can barely handle it. Like when those guys, like, what's an example? The whistling diesel guy that throws the engines on the hood of his R32s, and, like ruins two R32s because he didn't like the cars or whatever. Like that shit made me mad to watch, you know. And unfortunately, I fucking watched it. So I contributed to their clicks, you know, their watched minutes and that kind of stuff, which made them money and made it more likely for them to do it again. Which is why they do it, right? Like, and because of that, I try not to watch that guy's videos. Sometimes there'll be a clip, someone like, dude, you gotta fucking watch this, and I might watch it. But for the most part, I don't support those people that behave in such a way that I think they're damaging our community personally. So I don't sound like an old grandpa or anything, but you know, I wish that I could better. I guess better reach people and educate people. You know, I smell a loose leak. Yeah, me too. Tom is an educator. There you go. More than an influencer. I try. I try. Obviously, I'd like to. You know, I wish I was funnier. I mean, I'm funny when I'm drunk. I think. At least I think I am. Um, and all of that. But obviously, when I'm doing this, I'm focusing on giving my customer the best results, right? The best product that he or she can get, and that I can provide. That's always my goal. So like right now, even I'm blabbing you guys, I'm thinking about this car, trying to think of other things that could be causing it to be so damn rich. It's just 1050s. Fuel pressure is correct. Everything is good, so it just seems like there's a leak somewhere. The problem is it's a small one, and probably not going to find out by looking at it. Probably got to pull the. Oh my god, this has a fucking inlet. That's right. It has an inlet to a turbo inlet. That's really shitty. It has one of those Fuku racing ones. Ugh, so bad. So fucking bad. It puts the bypass valve hose all fucking kinked off, which is why the turbo surges a little bit. I think I get the smoke tester. God damn it. This is my hell loop. This is my hell loop. Working on cars that are fucked up. Dealing with this shit all the time. It's my loop. I just want to do cool shit, and I don't get that sometimes. I get to do stuff that has issues instead. Now that being said, obviously it's not the fault of the guy who owns this car, whoever that is. I don't know the person there about him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about any of that. I just know that Tier 1 asked me to tune a car, and that's what I would do on this day. So um, I don't think the car is neglected or anything like that. I got to cover my ass, make sure that you guys know that I'm not saying screw this guy or anything like that. I just don't know why it is that there's always something wrong with these damn cars. And I guess part of it is that unfortunately I care, right? Because a lot of tuners would be like, "Oh, that's off, okay," and then tune for it. You know, they tune for that leak, they tune for what's not right, and then they go on the internet afterwards and they go, "A true tuner makes anything work." No, no, a money-hungry con man makes anything work. Somebody who cares about the product and their customer and doesn't want them to go broke because they got to replace their motor won't make just anything fucking work. He'll make the right thing work so that the car is more reliable, safer, and easier for them to operate, has good hot start, restart, has good cold start, has good throttle response, gets as much fuel economy as this setup is capable of doing. Not, chugging off the stop sign, all that. That's what a fucking true tuner does. Money hungry fucking liars make just anything work. And yeah. Sorry, that's my little rant. One of the guys who considers himself the hottest thing since sliced bread, he said that shit on Facebook one day while posting a video of some car that I'm pretty sure I rejected because he had really bad component choices and shit, and who I'm pretty sure shortly after is paying for an engine build. So, yeah, Field Tuner makes anything work for 2 minutes. All right, I'm gonna go get the smoke machine and see about smoking this car. See if I can find a leak. Let's see, I disconnected. That's good. That's good there. Okay, so I gotta take the intake back off again, hook the smoke machine up, see where smoke comes out, hopefully find a leak. If not, we don't. But obviously I can't show you that shit because this camera I'm using is my laptop, and my video production sucks balls because that's all I got. So I don't know. Should I just turn this off, stop the stream, or just let it keep going with just me gabbing to some people in the background, or what? What do you think? Give me a message. And then also, think of some things you want me to talk about. Yeah, air fuel in this thing is 10-to-1 at the tailpipe with a catalytic converter in it. So if you think about that, a catalytic converter should lean out the indicated ratio at the tailpipe. But it's not, I mean, if it is, it ain't enough because I'm seeing 10-to-1 at the tailpipe. Oh. What's going on here? That's not the factory boost control phone. That looks like a Cobb or a Grinsky song, right? Hooked up correctly? Let's see, that one's in the middle, the turn and this side is there, that side is there. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay, so maybe even worse than a fucking 3-4. It's not doing it. Wow. Okay. And I was also told this was the stock downpipe. What the fuck? All right, I'm turning off the microphones. I'm gonna go yell at somebody. I'm gonna put these microphones in here. Sorry, guys, but I'm about to be pissed off. So the less data on the internet about me being angry, that'd be better.
It did come up nice and snug, but it was a little deep.
Motherfucker. Worst thing I said was goddamn it. All right, so let me modify the mods list now that I know that it has a 3-port. That's possible. It has a Cobb downpipe, which I wasn't told about. It has an IAT relocate that I wasn't told about. Luckily, none of those things hurt it. Now, these are 1050s, right? Not 13s? Okay, just making sure. It's 3-port. Okay, turbo inlet. I knew that one. All right, so definitely fucked up. To have a 3-port, have to need 70% to get 15. That ain't right. Especially to get 40% just to get 9. That ain't right. And all of that. So all of that's fucked. So he's gonna smoke test it right now. But while that happens, I'm gonna go here to my wastegate duty cycle and change the duty cycle of the valve to be 20-some%. Use control. Why is this one open? I don't want you open. Frequency. Boy, this software is the worst. We're at 28. Save. Okay. And then it's a GMIAT? It's the big brass motherfucker?
Another question too.
Uh-huh.
Did that guy with the skyline, like Vlad or something, or Polowski or something, reach out to you?
I feel like somebody with the Skyline asked me some questions.
R34, like about a month ago.
Yeah, a while ago, yeah. Never heard back. I know I responded, but
He's getting tuned right now down at KO.
did he go to the wrong place?
He called us and we reached out to you. Now I'm wondering why he was that.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you like complained about price.
Probably. I mean, my guess would be um oh, so he must have called me. He must have called not via email or something. He must have called me then because I don't see an email from him. Yeah. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he never called me. It's all right. His loss. Right. That's fine. Yeah. He's not? Too much money? Oh well. I gave him tons of options.
I think the whole thing was too expensive. He was hoping he could get it done for like $3,500, and it was like 52.
Yeah, but it was done right.
Yep.
I see smoke.
Yeah, this is from his intake thing, so not a turbo leak.
What's on the driver's side? His oil cap?
Yep. So it's got something going somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
No, they're connected. Right? They're connected right here. This goes right to the turbo inlet.
I've never had that happen before.
This is the O-ring upside down. Is that why?
It's just hard to pull it.
We used to block them off. We had the squeezy ones. We'd squeeze off the PCV ones just to keep them going there. Especially if we did a boost leak test. We definitely would do that. Otherwise, this pops out and I got a fountain of oil. We did that once. We boost leak tested right there without blocking the PCV. This shot out and oil shot up all over our wall, like 14 feet in the air. And so we didn't clean it. We left it there as a reminder to block your fucking PCV off before you do a boost leak test.
For sure. Sometimes if they're sealed, it just never goes anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a T right here that goes to that boost gauge. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that T popped up.
Right.
That would explain it. But
Yeah, it makes sense.
that stops. So it's clearly doing its job. This thing's about out of sex jelly, so.
There we go. It's coming out now. Just a little bit. What's this?
Oh, is it blowing out that far?
Yeah. Can you turn the key on real quick? Oh no, that was the BOV line, right? Okay, so it made the manifold then. Sometimes I'll hold the throttle body open if it's it'll help out, but that's fine. I can't know how much that PCV is leaking right there.
I've never had that happen before.
Is it at the white and black part, or is it below it?
There's a tiny bit. If I move it, a little bit comes out of the bottom because the fufu works so fast.
Yeah.
But it's only if I like bend it over, it doesn't come out. It's just spin around.
I thought that dude only did MR2s.
Well, they Googled tune shop and.
Well, he has a link in it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
maybe. I think he sold them. So, I believe he sold them. But yeah, he Google tune shop and KO, who's been down there for 6 months, shows up.
Yeah. It's all right. He'll call.
With no money because he already spent.
Yeah, that dude takes fucking a week to tune a car. How much? But then see, it couldn't be a money thing then, right? Because that dude way overcharges.
Well, he just charges like $250 an hour. So you might take your car there and think, oh It'll take an hour or two, charge me $600. I'm gonna serve for a week.
Right.
It costs you $10,000.
Right. I'm not saying anything.
Sketchy shit. No, I'm saying anything. The turbo might just be not happy. So put that shit at 100 and call it a day.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have no miles on it. I don't see any fucking leaks though. Man, it's definitely Cobb SF. He shows a brand new MAF, right?
Not a legacy one.
Right. Yeah, it's reading 247, making 215. Rich as hell, off the chart. Rich. It's like 10-1 with the Commander being 10-5. It's acting like
with the exhaust pipe one.
It's acting like it's got bigger injectors than. Yeah, weird. All right. Well, I guess I will pull out the MAF scale and injector scale combined. Just share a little bit. That's fucking whack.
Yeah, I mean we can work on it for a couple more days, so maybe get the tune done, and I gotta tighten that fuel pressure regulator down a little bit better anyway.
Okay.
So I will I'll pull that rail off, double check everything.
Unpinch his hose.
Yeah. So I can go back and move a couple things real quick. So do any preliminary testing at that point.
Okay. I know that if we saw some other shop that did that with the hose, we'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not as pinched until you put it on the bob. You put it on the bob, it pushes it in its home, and
Gotcha.
it's really gross.
Gotcha.
But I didn't have a bob on it, so
right.
when I put it there, I was like, it's squeezed a little bit, but not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's really fucked.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
Cool.
You want to take that and put this on.
Yeah.
Also, you'd think with a little bit of like R&D, like you make one of these, Works makes one of these hoses, and they go, oh shit, it doesn't fit at all.
Yeah.
Then you go, wait, let's go back to the drawing board and change something.
Yeah, and it'd be a short draw. It wouldn't take much to fix that. It's not the complex corners and dimensions and shit. I know that's your favorite connection too to do on this car.
It dislikes stuff that's
Poorly made.
what's that movie? It's like, oh, what do you like? Stuff that melts. Okay, well, what do you don't like? Stuff that doesn't.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's like a kid playing with a lighter. The guy's at like he's in a room. He's like,
Mm.
what do you like? Stuff that melts. He's over there lighting a GI Joe on fire.
Hmm.
What is that? Or something like that. You have to let the clamp pull the silicone over the nipple.
That's pretty fucked up.
Like, look how heavy that bead roll is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind a big bead roll, but
Well, they also don't give you enough.
when the diameter is too small to begin with, it doesn't help a whole lot.
No, and it's only this. The whole adapter is this long, and half of it has to go into the Fuku Works, and then half of it comes out here.
Right? How's this? Is this good? Okay.
Yeah, that one's done. That one, I took the piece and I stuck it in there the exact width of the hose clamp, and then I glued it. So I super glued it into the hose because it should be in there. It should be.
Yeah, it should have been permanently attached, anyways. Yep.
But it was not. All of the nipples.
Oh, good. Quality made components.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ouch. All right, well, for some reason, there's no leak. So that's pretty crazy. It seems like a lot of not good stuff happening simultaneously that would imply that there was a problem. All right. If you're still here, do you have the scale IAT from stock? For this sensor, yes. For this one, you do, because it's a GM one and not my sensor. Sean Tierney, if you're still in here, dude, how you doing? Dude, you gotta like message me or call me or something. I know I'm old and all, but we used to shoot the shit all the time. Let's see. I wonder if Sean has my new number. That's actually something I should double check. I only have Sean's old email address. I don't have Sean's phone number. All right. Let's fire this shit back up. Oh no, don't fire it. I gotta scale this IAT. Double check this. This is zeroed. Yep, that's zeroed. How's this guy? That's what I want. Okay, I opened up this. No, I didn't open it up. I was looking for it. I want to get the GM scaling. I clicked on the Windows Explorer here in Windows 11, and I'm waiting a significant amount of time before it freaking opens up anything. Does anyone have a MacBook? I'm contemplating buying a MacBook. I'm so tired of Windows, and it's gotten so freaking bad. I'm honestly thinking of going to a Mac. But I know a lot of the stuff you can't run on a MacBook. So I'm trying to figure out what I would need. I think from what I don't know of them, that I probably need like a MacBook Pro or something with like a dual boot, then it's still fucking Windows. I don't want that. So I gotta figure out if these things work, these programs work on Mac or not. All right, let's flash this with these changes. mtron.world. Well, that changes. Downloads. See what they say. Just says installer. It didn't say anything about being Mac friendly or not, so I'm assuming that means not. Do they use Macs in Australia? I'll send Mtron an email, and I'm sure they'll tell me I'm a fucking idiot like they always do. New York. How's the progress of custom pistons? Okay, custom rods and pistons are technically done. I'm just waiting on my wrist pins to get DLC coded. But for some reason, like, only find one place that'll fucking do it, and the one place that'll fucking do it won't ever respond to any form of communication ever. It's so fucking annoying. Sorry, now I'm starting to get triggered by this. I've been emailing and calling them, and I called them, and they go, oh yeah, email us. Okay, what email? Oh, the one you have is wrong. Okay, here's the right one. Sweet, thank you. I email them, nothing. I call back again. Nobody answers. I don't fucking understand why nobody wants to do a fucking job. Drives me fucking crazy. So, customized business have been done, but the pins are never getting fucking DLC coded apparently, and therefore I can't run them because the clearance is too large because they are made larger to accommodate the DLC coding. So, fuck. It's so annoying. I mean, like, I have a bunch of products. In fact, almost all my products that I have that aren't being produced right now are because someone in the manufacturing process dropped the ball, won't fucking respond to shit, suddenly changed the fucking price to something ridiculous, or after the prototype was done and they said they were going to do it for less, when I finally put an order and they didn't lower it down to where they said it was going to do it, and I was like, fuck you, like, that's way too much. It's just the plague of my existence is dealing with these companies. It's so bad. Like, I just want some regular shit done, and nobody, man, nobody will meet a deadline within fucking any period of time. I would say the only person right now that has provided me with something that's absolutely done in a reasonable amount of time would be Mark here in this chat. He's the one that 3D printed my prototype for my AOS and my oil filter and my dust separator for my UTV, which was too big. But yeah, like, that's it. I can't get anybody else to do anything, it seems like. And it's a total bummer. My main machine shop is pretty good, but just way too much money in a lot of cases, which is fine. They are very high quality and probably higher quality than I need as far as like their attention to detail and all of that. And they have bills to pay, but like, I can't afford a quantity from them that would make the product financially viable. I can't make it for low enough for anyone to buy it. And I guess that was one of the things that somebody said to me the other day. They said the people don't want the best product; they want the product they can afford. And sometimes it really feels that way, but I don't want that. I want to provide the best product. So, it's tough. Hey man, thank you very much for the $10 super chat bonus thing. He said dry sump instead of power steering pump kit. Okay, so you want to get rid of the power steering and put a dry sump there. That's tough because that part of the manifold is closer than the other side where the AC is. That would be like a stage or two, or ooh, oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I see, but here's that money aspect again. Do 2 stages behind and 2 stages in front of the belt. No one's done that yet. And my system is modular enough, I could do that. The only issue would be getting the pulley on. Yeah, that would be hard. Getting a pulley on would be hard. I would have to make a pulley drive that was custom and larger than my current pulley drive is. Because right now it's the small end of the shaft. But if I put like a hex drive on it, like a slides on with a big hex drive, and then made the pulley have a hex in the middle of it, and it slid on, then I could assemble the pump and have the pulley on there. A hex drive, and then just have a screw through the side, a set screw to take up the slack, maybe through 2 faces, so I get 2 axes on it. But yeah, I could do 2 stages on either side of the belt. That's actually really cool because that reduces my bearing requirement. Because right now you have the load pulling on the end of the shaft, and all the gears are being pulled up, and they're pivoting on the bearing in the front. It has to be the bigger, stronger one. Actually, in GM power steering pumps, there's only one bearing in there, and the pump floats on the back, and the rest of it just sits on the bearing. But if I did that and had the load on both sides, then I would not need as much bearing in one spot. I got bearing on either side, and then the other sides could float on it. I could just do one bearing on either side of the shaft, and the rest of the stages could float because there wouldn't be any pivoting about that axis. I don't know. Where am I at in this flash? I probably should have forgot about that. Easy on position, being reset. Okay. I thought I did. Holy fuck, it's the longest reflash ever. I wanted to tune this car and be out of here by like 2 o'clock. I showed up early to do it. Car wasn't fucking ready. Like they never are. And so an hour and a half I was in here before it was ready. It's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. That's my hell loop. The cars aren't ready. I show up. It was running kind of funny, I think, because of all the smoke in the manifold, so I gave it a little rev. Now it's smoothed out. Now it's quite a bit smoother, so that's good. Because there's also the crankcase full too, right? So it's coming in the PCV system as well. I don't know if you heard when we were doing it, there was a ton coming out of the oil fill cap, which coincidentally is technically a leak. All right, the PCV is drawing air that's unfiltered through there, then it's a leak. Now, the thing about that is it should have made the car leaner, and I should have had a positive correction, not a 6% negative correction. So that was an interesting one, considering I'm looking at it now, and It looks like the correction's going in the same direction. It'll eventually be negative again. All right, so I'm just going to pull off the entire MAF calibration. I don't know why I have to do this. Maybe it's an issue with this new sensor. Maybe it's just I don't know what it is, honestly. Like this, it's silly. There's no leaks. The regulator's holding pressure good. I can see the pressure. The mass airflow sensor is brand new. The injectors are new. My guess, honestly, is that these are at the high side of the flow that they have, right? Because every injector manufacturer, every product manufacturer has an allowable band that the product has to be in before it to be acceptable. So you have to have a range. And so Injector Dynamics has two ranges. They have the range that they flow to be acceptable, right? It has to be a flow rate. Um, and that flow rate can vary. I don't know. I don't know what their band is. I'm just going to say 5%. Okay, so 5%. But then they have another band, and that is injector to injector. And that's 3%, I think, right? It's 2 or 3%. I forget what they said it was. It's 2 or 3% in the low pulse width areas and a smaller percentage up top. And I don't know. I don't remember what their specs are for that. They said something about it before. I don't remember. So, like I said, technically they have 3 bands. The low pulse width characteristics, because that's the most important part of an injector as far as how it's going to idle and drive and all that. And then, of course, the top end flow, so you don't melt something down because one cylinder is less than the other. So I don't know what their top end flow limit is or acceptable range is. But I remember hearing 3% for something versus 2% for something else. So, all right. So you see, I pulled 5%. I pulled 7% out of the MAF cal, and those numbers are a lot closer to 0 now. So now we're going to try a pull. I'm back to 0% duty cycle, I believe. Yep. Turn off the traction control, lock the center diff. Try again. All right, let's try it again. Don't want to watch. I do want that. All right, it says I'm rich. Oh, that's actually funny. So the air fuel is exactly where I want it. And coincidentally, where the boost is at 0% duty, with the way the scaling is in the dyno, both lines were on top of each other. It was 2 lines, they were just riding each other the whole way across until 6,000 RPM when one of them went down. I don't know which one it was. Air fuel. Air fuel went richer over 6,000. That's what I saw there. All right, so we're leaner. That's good news. Okay. Commanded fuel was 11 something and 12 up here. And okay. And it was really close to that through the whole poll. So that's good news. Let's see. Whiskey duty cycle 0 the whole time as expected. Okay, that's good. Mass airflow got to 180 now that we're pulled 7% out. 180. And it made 176 wheel horsepower. Hey, look at that. That is tracking now. That is tracking. Okay. Fuel pressure differential was the same through the whole poll. Timing here, let's see. Red line 6,800. Timing was, wait, what's going on here? That time was 30 degrees up there, but only 7 pounds of boost up there. And then at peak torque, timing was really conservative, 7 pounds of boost at 14 degrees. So really conservative on the bottom. But up top, you see the timing went really high. So what that means is that the calculated load was so low that we just fell off into here in this area, probably this 1917 area. My guess would be 175. Look at the log again and see what it was. I forgot to look at what happened. Okay, well, it doesn't exist anymore. This is the wrong one. I closed it. What's this one at? This one has calculated load on the top end. This one is 2.1. but this was 14 pounds of boost. Okay, so yeah, probably right. Probably about the 1.7 range right here. No knock, so that's good. And everything was good. So okay, let's add some duty cycle to it and tune it like we want. I actually copied this map earlier. Did it save? No, it did not. Uh, um, so we're usually around 75 right here. And then in this range, we're going to be 350, 380. Okay, right here, we're going to be right around the 368, like so. And I'm going to taper it down to, let's see, let me look at the boost request. Oops, so 310 is gate pressure. So 310 will have 0%. There's no point in having duty cycle when I want gate pressure. 320 is the first step where I'm going to have wastegate duty cycle. So I go here, 310. This is 0, not 15. Now what you can do is give it a few percent, like 5, so that things can be a little more responsive. I hit R instead of H because I've been doing too many Mtrons. And then low. We'll do the same sort of thing. 75 here. Sure. And then this will be a lower value in the first two cells. We'll do 55. And then 310. We'll leave this at 5 as well. That just kind of lets the system be a little active. And then we'll straight time that for now until we get deeper into the tuning of the boost. They're kind of refueling. Oh my god, why do you do this, Cobb? Like, dude, I fucking hate that. That part is so annoying. You save something or whatever, and then it like jumps around the menus on the left and puts you in a different spot. It's the strangest shit. I don't understand why they do it. I don't know how the fuck they get away with half the shit they've been doing with software lately. It's been just a nightmare to work with. All right, so we're gonna do this a little bit. It's too much. That's too ugly. 9. That's the same as that one. That one. This is to Oops, I want that. Okay, I want this to be. Yeah, one of the guys I was talking to was like, "Don't these people like use their own software?" And I was like, "You'd think so, but fuck, you just never know. Sometimes things get so messed up, and you're like, how is it this bad?" 2 stages in a larger tank, moving the battery, and electronic power steering. 2 stages. Oh, it's another $10. Thank you. 10, 2 stages in a large tank, moving the battery, and electronic power steering. What do you mean larger tank? I mean, you gotta have a tank anyways, right? What do you mean larger tank? I saw a dam drop for half a second. The half a second I saw knock. Okay. I didn't see knock. My log didn't show any knock. It was zeros all the way down the log. I looked at it. And dam still won. I don't know what you're talking about. Did like mid pull, did it drop for a second, go back up? That'd be weird. That'd be weird. Alright. That made 215. which is jacking shit. Air fuel, though, was in the right spot. That was basically 10.8 air fuels from 11 at 3,000 to 10.8 by red line, hovering around 10.9, 10.8 through most of the power range from 4,000 to red line. Okay. Check my cams. I know you can't see the logs, so I'm just telling you what I'm doing. First, I'm doing scrolling down the log and verifying my cams were moving within the same or a few degrees of each other during the pull. I go next over to calculate load and I scan down that, make sure that makes sense. And then I'm using enough of my timing map that I'm not doing a bunch of unused stuff unnecessarily. Right now, I have a bunch of unused stuff unnecessarily. Because the calculated load only gets a 2.3 on that pull. 2.3 with a pressure looks like 13 pounds. Yeah, 13 pounds of boost on that one, which seems ridiculously low to me. 215, 216, 219 in one little spot. It says it goes 15, 15, 15, 15, 19, 16, 15, 15, 15, 16. So that 19 is just a little glitch, obviously. And that's a 64% duty cycle. We're 2 pounds under target. At 64%, man, that is just so much duty cycle to make no effing boost. Ignition timing at red line, I've got 22, which isn't too bad for whatever the boost is at the top. And at peak torque, I got 12, 12 and a half. Again, peak torque was only at 14 or 13.7 psi, and then red line was 11. So not too aggressive, but the airflow matched my wheel horsepower almost exactly. So that tells me that I'm pretty damn close on everything. Feedback knock, final knock, stay at all zeros, no damn drops. I mean, if it dropped with 12 degrees on it, I'd be concerned. And then, obviously, like I said, 11 to 10.8, and that is post-catalyst. So that means technically it's probably a little richer than that through the duration of the pull. So I still don't like how much duty cycle it's taking to hit these boost targets. I don't like that at all. But apparently, I don't get a fucking say in the matter. It's just going to do what it's going to do. It's laggy too. Late full boost happens at 4,500 with a 68% duty cycle across the board, and the log showing me at 64% the entire pull, because I was less than my target boost by 3 pounds or more the entire pull. I really don't like that. I don't like that it has to be such a high number. It doesn't make sense. It's not good. But like I said, we checked for leaks, and there were none. I'm just gonna keep raising this up here, and then I will. I do know that it took 64% or 60 on this map to hit 14 or 15 pounds. So basically, I have 340 torque, 15 is my target, 360 torque, 15 is my target. So I know that from 340 to 360, all that really needs is 64%. I say all it needs, but that number, now that I have that number, is great to put in the 340, 360 range, which is right here, which is insane to me. I got to go that high. So that's 65 now. And let me move this down, like I said before. That's going to raise that up a little bit. Like it were. Let's go to the lows. If I don't give it enough authority, it can never reach it. And if you don't know how that works, you look at the low here. You see this low value, whatever it is. This plus this number here, 15. That's the most it's allowed to get. So my low plus 15 is the most. And if that number is less than my high table, well, that's what I still get. The high table does not count in that regard. So it uses whichever one of these is lower is the limit. So the high table is less than that, then the high table is the limit. If this is less than the high table, then this is the limit. So that's just how it works. That doesn't take into account necessarily all the other compensations, or what I should say is all the other compensations happen, but still get capped off at that number, is what I'm trying to say. With the exception of, which one is it? Remember which one? Some of the compensations make it through. La 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 la. Come in at the end, take it off the high. I think it's elevation barrel. One of them comes off the end. Look at that curve. That is not advantageous. That is not what I want. Well, I know that for 9 pounds it needed 30-something%, and I know that 320 is a 10-pound target. So I'll do this number, and that'll make it hit that other target. I have the same thing here too. I need a 38 for the 9 pounds, and this is 10 pounds, so I did that. No, I don't like that. I don't like that that's the kind of fucking map I have to do to make this thing work right. Wow. Okay. Well, that's what it takes, I guess. Um, all fixed. Yeah, maybe. Anxiety port. That's true. Not sure I want to ship your parts. I use books a lot. They're very small. Time code was like $20. Think of Aqua DLC coding. Send me an email, dude. Let me know. There was no leak, Jason. I guess it's tire turbo, yeah. Well, the thing about the dry sump pump is you got to have scavenging, right? So a two-stage pump, 2 stages isn't even enough scavenging, really. So it's got to be more than 2 stage. Um, yeah, it's got to be more than 2 stage, or you're starting the scavenging. Yeah, the tank won't do anything for making up for stages because the the stages supply oil to the engine when it needs it. The tank is just there, and if you fill the engine up with oil and you can't get it out, then eventually there'll be nothing for the pump to pump anymore. Yeah, that doesn't really work, or the pressure in the engine will be way too high. And then the scavenge pumps, they operate with engine RPM. The higher they spin, the more they scavenge. So it isn't like you'd get a bunch, built up in there, and then when you let off the throttle, eventually you just suck it down, right? The pump slows down with the throttle, so if you don't have enough, you don't have enough. The engine would just slowly fill up with oil until it came out the side, kind of thing, until you shattered your crankshaft because it smacked into a fucking puddle of oil. So there has to be enough scavenge. So there's nowhere for it to go. All right, let's do this poll. Yeah, it's laggy. For a top mount, this is laggy. It's just laggy. That's all there's to it. Unless you want tire turbo. 233. That's it. That's all she made. With all that duty cycle. Reminds me of the water boy. They have all them teeth and no toothbrush. Let's see, turbodynamics. Okay, we get to within a pound and a half until the top end. So it isn't until the very top that we make it to our boost target. And our air fuel or our mass airflow hit 225. We made 230. So yeah, it looks like we're hitting our airflow numbers, but we're not hitting our power numbers at all. It's the same air fuel, basically 10.8 across the board. And yeah, full boosted time to 4,500 RPM. That's insane, right? Because this is a factory VF turbo in here. feedback not count, fine not count, zeros all the way down the board. Dam multiplier stayed 1 all the way down the board. Command air fuel finals. 11, 11, 11, 3, 11, 3, 11, 3, 11, 3, 11, 1, 11, 1, 11, 1, down to 11, 1 is low it gets on the commander fuel, but as you said, as you saw, it's getting 10, 8 at the tailpipe. Peak load that time is 2.6, so we're getting up there in our fuel table, or on our timing table as far as our peak load is concerned. And then our difference of fuel pressure is a steady 44 psi the entire time. It's 43 at idle. When the other pumps kick on, it goes to 44. So that's nice and steady. No issues with that. Timing again, peak boost still hitting that 12 number. It's interesting because I added some boost. I don't know why it only went to 12. Oh, because it didn't hit peak boost till fucking 4,500. That's why. Yeah. And then at red line, 22 degrees at 13 pounds of boost up top. So it's not extremely conservative. It's not super aggressive. It's on the conservative side, but I could probably add 3 degrees across the board, maybe more, with the way this is running, and it would still take it. But you don't want to tune a car just to take stuff. You know, you want to do what comes easy, because when it comes easy, it lasts longer. If you're struggling to make power, you're struggling to make things happen, that's where failures come in. That's where things take a shit. So, pretty much, I would say 9 times out of 10, I'm tuning a car and I'm like, oh man, like I'm really having to struggle to get this car to make power. And if I keep going, then 9 times out of 10 it fails. It fails because you're like, I don't think I should be adding this timing. I don't think I need this much juice. I go this, but I don't think I should be doing this. You know, but it responds. You're like, okay, it's responding. I guess that's all right. But I feel like it takes too much effort. Man, this duty cycle's too high, that kind of stuff. Then a failure happens 9 times out of 10. Which, if you look at this car, it's kind of how I'm feeling right now. The fact that it's taking this much duty cycle to hit that boost target is pretty ridiculous, honestly. Pretty ridiculous. So, so it kind of like put a 12 mil pump only having 2 stages. Yeah, if you put a 12 mil pump on and you draw more oil out of the tank than the scavenge stages can do, then yeah, you would empty it out. But right, so in the dry sump system, you have a number of stages, 3 or 4 or whatever, and one of them is the pressure stage, and the other ones are the scavenge stage. Now, what I did with my design is I made it so that you use the factory oil pump as a scavenge stage. No one's done that before. And so that's very unique. So that means I get 1 free scavenge stage from the engine. It's not a huge stage. It's an 11 mil pump stage. That being said, though, that 11 mil pump, 1 11 mil pump without aeration of the oil would be enough to remove the oil that an 11 mil pump supplies, right? But it's not a smooth, consistent laminar flow from the engine to the tank like it is from the tank to the oil pump, because it goes and hits things and it gets aerated. It goes to the heads. It's got to come down to various points to get collected. And so there's air and oil that gets collected out of there. So you realistically need more stages to remove the oil you're pulling out of the engine that you're putting into the engine. And if you were to size it, directly, you need, say, double or triple the amount of millimeters. So in this case, a 12 millimeter wide pump. I would need 24 to 36 to get all the oil out, because the oil is going to be aerated and coming from various areas. I'm going to have air pockets and all that kind of stuff going in there, right? And then also I have blow-by. I have all the blow-by in the engine that's coming out, making it past the rings that I got to get out of the engine. And ideally, you want to take that with the scavenge pump, and ideally, you want to bring crankcase pressure down some. You want to get it below atmospheric. The thinner the air is in there, the less molecules are in there for the crankshaft and the pistons to move around and pump and bang into. Again, if I stick my hand out the window on the freeway, the weight of that air blows my hand back, right? That's a load. I got to hold my hand up, right? The crankshaft consumes power pushing through the air. The pistons, they literally displace air back and forth on the backside of them and pushing the air back and forth between each other. and between like the two in the middle, they go together. Then that pushes to the outside, and the back ones separate, and they push back, and the front ones come apart, right? So I have this air moving back and forth between the bays of the engine. The more there is in there, the more work that has to happen to move that air back and forth. If there's less density, there's less weight to that air, there's less molecules in there for those pistons to affect, then I free up horsepower. So if I draw that sucker down to almost a perfect vacuum, then there's no molecules for them to bang into. The issue with that, though, is if I was to pull too much of a vacuum and there's not enough residual vapor floating around in there, then you have issues with wrist pin lubrication and other types of lubrications inside the engine. They say that vapor in there helps to lubricate things. I'm not totally convinced, but that's what they say. So probably if you don't have jets squirting onto your pistons or jets squirting onto your wrist pins or whatever, I could see you having some issues with some oiling. But even then, you still have oil shooting out of things and splashing around in there. But they say less than 12 inch or 12 pounds relative, so negative 12 relative. So you will strip the oil from wrist pins and that kind of stuff. I don't totally buy that, but that's something they say. So anyways, yeah, I gotta have the ability to pull the blow by out, pull the oil out, and get that out of the engine. And I have to do obviously clearly more than the oil pump is applying to the engine, in order to get all that out. So yeah, you got to have quite a few more stages. And honestly, with my oil pump design right now, I don't know if my scavenge stages are going to be enough. I have been unable to test them as of yet. So my scavenge stages are the exact same as my pressure stages. They're just more oil pumps. They're more 11 mil rotors. Now I designed it to accept a 12 mil, and there's enough room in there if I wanted to. I could lay it back some more and put 14 mil in there. No one makes a 14 mil that I know of, but I can have them custom made. So I don't know if my scavenge stages are even going to pull enough air to compensate for the blow-by in the engine yet. So it's possible that they don't. But there's 3 technically in your car because you'll use a factory pump as a scavenge stage, and then 2 on my dry sump as a scavenge stage, and then 1 as a pressure stage. And the other benefit too is that you can overdrive it or underdrive it, change the pulley size, spin it faster. So since my pumps are designed better on the back, because they have more room, the fluid's not changing direction as fast to get into the pump, and the path is a smoother, clearer path from the oil supply. There's going to be less cavitation issues, and less cavitation means that I'll be able to spin the pump faster than you can the factory pump, which is very compact. And so I could technically overdrive the oil pump if I want. If I have an 11 mil pump and I want to get 12 mil flow out of it or 13 mil flow out of it, whatever, I get a slightly smaller pulley on it, and it'll spin the pump faster, and I'll get more oil flow. So anyways, yeah, I've done a lot about that. I do not like this. And now I got a fucking 7% total added trim, which is weird because I pulled out of the fucking MAF scale, right? Pulled it out of the MAF scale. So my issue is that on the top end, I am way richer than it's supposed to be. And some of that is going to be this guy right here. This TPS related fuel adder, right? But it adds 0.1. It's not adding a ton. It's adding 0.1, 0.2 based on temperature. If I go to the high switch, coolant temp right there, 220. I'm not there obviously, so I'm down to 0.1. So it's adding a little bit of fuel to the target. But even then, like this is still to the target, so it would show commanded fuel is richer. And in the case of this car, commanded fuel is a value, and the fuel at the final number at the tailpipe is quite a bit richer than it should be. And if I do this here, this one, that one, or that one, those are zeros, so I know I'm not adding extra fuel there arbitrarily. And then this one here is also zeros. Some cars we pipe with this, some we don't. But this is, do we add airflow or subtract airflow from the MAF based on the temperature of the air in it? Since this has an IAT relocate, it would be silly to change this because the mass airflow sensor is reading the air at the sensor, and I just don't think there's a point in changing that unless I want to basically have it automatically richen with air temp, which we don't have on these and the fuel map here. We don't get a big trim. So if we go miscellaneous, we got TPS related fuel adders. I don't have IET related fuel adders, right? I don't have that. I have open loop IAT related. I got accelerator. I've got TPS. I got coolant temp. I don't have air temp. And so what I can do, and I have done on many cars, is up here. I'll take this and I'll add a couple percent to the high flow areas at high temps. We'll say like 6%. And then go up here like this, and then do that, and then go like this to a normal temp and do that. And what that means is that when it gets to 122 degrees on the high end, I've added 3%. And that adds in some protection on the engine to automatically richen it up when the intaker into the engine is hot. And I could leave that right here because honestly, that's completely viable. And there's no detriment to this at all that I could fucking think of. In fact, I might leave this actually. Because also, since I have a relocated IAT, I know that this air temp is actually the air leaving the intercooler and going into the engine. And so in that case, I know that it's an accurate air temp and it's an accurate indication of how much heat load is on the intercooler and making it into the engine. So I'm going to leave it. Fuck it. Like I said, no detriment to that at all. It's merely safety. And I can go the other route too. If I want to, when it's cold and I want to lean out a smidge, like say I have it set up for a really rich AFR target in normal conditions, we'll say 10.8, really normal, and then this is going to add some to it on top to protect it when it's hot. Then on the other side, when it gets cold, I can lean it out if I wanted to and bring it to 11.5. It's further from the knock threshold if I wanted. I can bring it to 11.5, pull a couple percent out of here if I wanted to. But with this car, I am not in any desire to make it more aggressive on its own because it's already in a place that I don't like it to be. So, yeah. But I'm going to check this to see if I'm going to do something in here that's fucked up. Nope. Nope. Anyways. How's the neighbor cat? Bit my lip while talking. Ow. Bleeding. Wow. I bit my lip good. Damn. A lot of blood in there. Neighbor cats are fine. Neighbor's got 17 cats. They're good. One of them came over and visited earlier today. In fact, it was a few seconds ago you heard a text. That was actually my wife texting a picture of the neighbor cat on our front porch to what we call the cruise crew. It's a bunch of friends that we went on a cruise with and do other stuff with too. So see, there's the neighbor's cat. We fostered a cat for a week. I'll tell you a story, guys. I was pick up our cat, my wife's cat, from the border where she has to have medication twice a day, so we got to pay $20 a day to fucking have somebody watch her, give her medication twice a day, and they often don't do it. But they hold her for us inside the kitty condos there. I go there, I see this cat. He's up against the glass, looking at me, blinky eyed, rubbing against the window, give me some meows, want some attention. I'm like, oh, look at you, you're a cute little guy. Oh, a cute little cat. And I just happen to look at his sheet because I want to see what his name is. And it says Gizmo. Oh, that's a cute name. And then the date sticks out of my head. October 3rd. It's fucking May. This poor cat has been in this goddamn box since October 3rd. Now, I know some people aren't cat people. And some people just plain out hate cats. I hate cats. People say. I don't. I like cats. But people say that. And but I don't care if you're a cat person or not. An animal of that nature and size does not deserve to sit in a fucking box since October. So I said to them, hey, what's up with this cat? Like, this is fucked up. This cat should not be in this box this long. And they're like, yeah, the owner's on some hard times. She can't do anything with him. And We're just sitting here. She's got thousands of dollars racked up in storage, and for this fucking poor thing. And she comes by and gives us food, but that's about it. And I'm like, well, you let her know that we're gonna take him for a little while. And they're like, well, we can't just give him to her. We gotta give her permission. I go, well, you let her know that we want to take her for a little while because this is messed up. Like, at least give the cat a fucking break, and live a life not of solitary confinement. So we bring the cat home, and the cat hates me, which is really weird because animals and kids love me. This cat hates me, and he watches my hands, and he's like just scared of my hands. He's afraid of hands. Not my wife's hands though, but my hands. Granted, mine are a lot bigger than my wife's, but he's got an issue with guys, with men and hands. So I can only assume that he was abused by somebody else. So we asked the other owner, "Hey, does he have a problem with men?" She says, "Yeah, he didn't like my roommate." Is what she said. He didn't like my roommate, Sean or Steve or Craig or whatever his name was. And I'm like, right, didn't like your roommate. Okay. So clearly there was some sort of thing that happened between him and this roommate because he was afraid of my hands. And if I have my hands in my pocket, he's rubbing against my leg. He's being really sweet. But as soon as my hands come out of my pockets, he freaks out. A couple times, 3 times, he jumped up on my leg and just started biting and clawing me. He attacked my hand a couple times. And if I went into my office to try and do some work, he jumped on the desk, got my face, and then tried to attack me while I was sitting at the desk because I'm typing away. So we had the cat for 1 week, and I'm walking through the house, and he comes out from the table, starts fucking scratching my legs up, and not like playfully. He's like aggressively flipped out, growling, and attacking my hands and my feet. So we had to take it back. I like my wife though. He did attack her a couple times, but for the most part, he liked her a ton. But we had to take him back. It's a bummer. So I feel terrible that the poor guy has to live in a box, for maybe the rest of his life. Who knows how long he's living in that freaking box? But like I took the day off of work yesterday to spend the entire day with him, just to try and get him happier, more accustomed. And I took him around the house and I let him meet the other cats, and he really liked my girls. They didn't like him, but he really liked the other cats. He just wanted to like stand next to him all the time. Like one of them would like fall asleep and he'd go up and like sniff her and just like sit next to her. And then she'd wake up and look at him and freak out. But he just wanted to be near the cats. He wasn't aggressive with the other cats at all. He was very sweet. And I just feel terrible that someone fucked that poor cat up so much that somebody like me, who's usually the cat whisperer, for example, just like he couldn't even trust me, someone who had just, I'm the reason he came home. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just such a bummer. Poor guy. But so that's how the cat's doing. That's how the cat's doing. All right, what a fucking story for a car channel. Yeah, just generic maps. This thing should make tons of power up top, though. I can change this to 17. Let's knock this down a little earlier. 17, that might, oopsie, that didn't work. It might give me a little bit. It may be much. Initializing tables, initializing tables, initializing tables. Always initializing tables. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord. That whole thing where Windows 11, like, changes the active window all the time running? Boy, that's so annoying. I want to buy a new computer that has Windows 10 on it. And I guess I can install it myself. Probably what I should do. I should probably try putting 10 on this computer and see if it worked better. If I could find a 10 copy. That'd make more sense. Who's got the Windows 10 freaking deets? Okay. Dude, fuck you, Google. Sign out of this fucking account. I don't want this account on my thing.
How's she looking?
Not good.
Not good?
No.
What's going on? I
It
haven't
doesn't.
heard a poll, so I was like, uh-oh.
It doesn't make power. It's miserable.
Is that like the other WXs that weren't making power?
It is weird, right? Nothing's making power lately.
Nothing's been making shit.
Yeah. Is it the dyno then? Have we ever greased this fucking dyno?
Mhm.
Or has anyone done it recently?
No. You have to take it completely apart to grease anything.
Yeah, so it's been like 2 years then. No, because it wouldn't have full boost at 4,500 RPM on a factory VF if it was the dyno. It's just fucked.
So is there something wrong with the turbo?
Yeah, something. Turbo, car. I don't know.
I spun the turbo. It spun fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Wastegate crack maybe? Maybe it's got a massive wastegate crack in it.
It did have a tiny one.
They had a crack.
Tiny one.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't big.
yeah. I don't know, but like it's on a top mount still. There's no reason why a VF should hit full boost at 4,500.
It's on the Cobb map? Like just off the shelf map?
Yeah, all of them. Doesn't matter. Oh, fuck, those won't even make boost. There's not even a duty cycle inside the maps for it to make any more than like 12 pounds of boost. Like I'm at 78% to just touch that 16 right there. That's usually enough to hit 19 or 20 on an STI like this. Yeah, I concur. And even then, look at the power. And the weather correction's adding 12%. Look at it. It's lower left there, right? That's what it says, 12.4 or whatever.
Well, we never drove this car ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, it's not making, I mean, it is stock catback, right? Those look like stock mufflers to me. I mean, that could be part of it, you know?
And that would explain low boost if there's just a bunch of pressure back there.
Yeah. It doesn't explain 4,500 being, the peak boost.
Or maybe it had an OEM tap failure previously. That shit's back there somewhere.
Well, I said it had a heat shield rattle, right? Was that actually heat shield? Or was that inside the mufflers?
Does it do it right now?
All right. Flash it. Let me see.
That's a good question because it doesn't have Oh no, it does. It has a parent heat shield on it.
Yeah, but
It's all
but
tight.
that's up there. That rattle was under the car. 1 second. Just finished flash. It's not running, right?
Want to get in boost control and let me see if the rod pushes? Pull once it gets.
Yeah, but if it didn't, I'd have high boost.
Well, why are it stuck that way? I can only move a little bit. Stuck open.
No. Okay.
Like right towards the end of it.
Yeah. So it's not that. What's the rattle?
The parent heat shield's bent one, and it's all the welds and busted on it.
So if you push something against it, it'll stop rattling?
Mostly, yeah. Like I held it.
Oh, I didn't hear it stop. So I didn't hear it stop, but I believe you.
It quieted down significantly.
Gotcha.
The only other thing I could think of is like maybe there was like a giant packing peanut in that Cobb downpipe or something stupid.
Oh, like in the cat? That'd have burned up by now.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah, all the heat that it smoked by now. Oh, look at that. With the hood up, the no air on the intercooler, or the fuel I added with high IAT worked. See how it got hot up top? See how you got richer? That line got down closer to the lower tens. I just set up a thing where if the temp gets hot, leaving the intercooler, it'll add extra fuel.
Perfect.
And with the hood up and no air on the intercooler, guess what happened? It got hot. So that worked. But yeah, it's
I know the last 3 cars have been really bad.
yeah, that one FA was really bad.
Maybe more power than this.
It did. It made more power this. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. This thing might need to be lubricated. Oh, I didn't like that cam change. Oh, that's the heat. That's the heat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The other thing too with that one is I add to the math cal, so what it does is it lowers timing as well when it gets hot automatically. With load, now it does doubly, I guess, because it does it also based on timing. But yeah,
I don't know what to make of that.
yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, 9 times out of 10, and when I push them harder than I feel like they want me to push, they fail. So
Got brand new spark plugs in it. Doesn't sound like it was misfiring.
what's you got for plugs?
Sills. If you went to 100%, just see an overboost.
I went to 90. Went to 90, didn't do shit.
What if I went compressor to gate and just see if like the turbo's working appropriately?
Yeah, I zeroed it out and it made the exact amount of boost it should have.
Okay.
I zeroed out duty cycle and it made like it was supposed to. Everything was
So
fine.
it's just not making boost.
Correct.
Wonder if that Bluetooth Works intake is
Collapsing some?
that, or it just has too aggressive kink at the first, or like where it goes around the TGV housing, because it does have a decent kink to it. But not, it's molded in.
Right.
Can it be worse than the factory one? Because the factory one will do like 300.
Yeah, I know. The factory one's pretty decent. I mean,
It's straight.
there are
it's
definitely
small.
gains. You know, with aftermarket, like the Cobb or the Perrin, there are definitely gains to an inlet. But I don't know, losses from this one? I don't know.
Also, I'm kind of upset.
With?
Pulsar only makes V-band reverse rotation turbo,
What do you mean?
not T4 twin scroll.
Oh, the reversation one's only from a V-bands? Well, that doesn't matter. If it's the same mounting as something else, you just swap mount for a housing that works with it. If it's a clone of something, the mounting's probably gotta be the same, right?
I mean, it's just a G series, but I don't know if they make a T4 G series reverse rotation. Ooh, they might. Garrett, genuine Garrett might make it. I didn't think about that.
T4?
T4 twin scroll in reverse rotation.
Why would you want that?
It's the only thing that fits. Well, to
In
provide
what?
the
In what we're
rotor.
talking about? Oh, rotary. Gotcha. Gotcha. What do they make for reverse rotation in Garrett's?
I haven't checked. I've only been looking at Pulsars because I can't afford it. Well, the exhaust housing is more expensive than the entire turbo from Pulsar.
Is that Rodriguez or is that his kid?
I think it's a kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's smaller.
Yeah, there are some babies out here this spring. There's a marmot out there that's got to weigh 35 pounds.
Oh, really?
Giant.
Just a little groundhog?
Yep.
Emphasis on the hog?
Yep.
Does he eat rabbits?
I don't
Oh.
know. Maybe. I don't know if they get along or not.
Yeah.
You ever read the Redwall books?
Redwall?
Yeah.
Like
About
what?
the weasels and badgers and shit fighting each other.
Is it like Watership Down or something like that?
It's like from the early 2000s.
No.
There's a whole bunch of Red
No, the old one, like Watership Down, it was like that kind of, that idea.
Well, dual pole, we'll put ethanol in it. We'll make 8 more horsepower.
It still has half a tank.
Huh?
It still has half a tank. 3/8 of a tank.
Just put it in like and hold it like 5,500 at load.
All right, I spooled a little bit earlier, but wow, I got a lot of smell right now. A lot of hot exhaust smell. There's got to be a restriction here. It's got to be what it is. Yeah, I got the boost coming a smidge earlier with those ABCS changes, but now peak boost is 4,300. But it's a little fatter sooner, but still not great. And the power didn't go up any. And yeah. Ignition timing. 12 at peak. And Intake air temp screams up. I got 230 grams. That's it, man. This thing is just not moving in the air. 22 degrees. That's still 22 degrees. There's no air moving. Let's see. I think I have Windows 10 for workstations somewhere. Buy a key. Can you even get keys? Maybe a downgrade option in your license? I'd be interested in that shit. If that actually existed, that'd be awesome. They come with a kit. I doubt there's a downgrade option. Why would they do that? Like, they bug me every fucking day on my other Windows 10 computers. Like, you should go to 11. No, I don't want to go to 11. But they do it all the time. This has got a Cobb catted downpipe in it, yes. But it's brand new. It just got installed. Some choking on the airflow, higher. Yeah, we believe that there is. We're trying to figure out what it could be. It definitely acts like there's a restriction. So it could be the catback. The catback could be clogged as shit for some reason. I don't know. I might have him unbolt the catback and just run it fucking straight downpipe and see how much the power goes up and the spool goes up. I mean, that always wakes up a little bit, but if it wakes up a lot, then we're like, okay, there's something going on. Man, look at that. Now I got this 5% trim at idle. It was -7 earlier, and then I changed it to 7%, and now it's positive the other direction. That's not consistent either. And that's I don't like that being that. I don't like it being that inconsistent. Let's see. Oh, my brother-in-law is being grumpy. That's kind of his thing, though. This is something Cobb added here. See, this air fuel trims total. I used to have to run correction and learning on here and add them together. Now they got this total thing. So I just run total and learning because I know the difference is the instantaneous. Right now it's learn 6, instantaneous is close to 0. My brain still has issues with it because it still thinks I'm adding them together for 12%. But I'm not. This is total. So yeah. All right. I don't know what else to do with this thing other than unbolt the catback and drain fuel out of it because it's 3/8 of a tank. So I think I'm just gonna call it quits here, and while we try and troubleshoot and figure out what's going on. I don't know if it's just a tired turbo or tired car or what. It's only got 86,000 miles on it, which isn't terrible, um, but it's definitely not nearly as responsive as it should be. And also, Mark, you said choking it up on the higher flow. Well, it's not just high; it's low too, because the peak boost isn't coming until 4,500. And on a VF, that usually indicates you got a front mount or a broken VF. And this thing's still on a top mount, the factory top mount. So the factory top mount with an upgraded inlet, upgraded intake, upgraded downpipe. This thing should be spooling way faster, like peak boost at 3,000, not 4,500. So there would have to be a restriction the entire way, not just on the top end. So, anyways, this is probably a spam call. Let me answer real quick. Let's find out. Unless it's Sean. Hello? Hello? It's blank. Nobody's there. Yes, it was, but they don't use rags here, so nobody puts rags in anything. That's a big no-no because they do get forgotten at times. So they don't do that here. They don't even have rags here. Let's put it that way. So gonna take the downpipe off or the cat back off. I think if we can reach under there. I don't know how. He just put it on, so it should be easy to get off. I think we undo it, let it hang, and then do a pull with a straight downpipe and see how well it did. how well it does. So I'm trying to fucking with it. Like I said, it's about hell loop, and I gotta piss. Take these off. All right, gentlemen. Oh, it's supposed to do left and right, but it's not. It's doing both the same. I must have them linked. I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna call it quits so that I can take a piss, and the guys and stuff can work on it, see if they can figure something out. And then if I do figure it out, or they do figure it out, then maybe I'll do a quick little short, a little video showing what we did. And I'm sure that's annoying as shit. Showing what we did and all that kind of stuff. But so thanks for stopping by. Sorry this wasn't nearly as entertaining as it could be. Nobody asked me any questions really, other than the oil stuff. So I can't teach you guys anything. You don't ask any questions. For those that want to learn stuff, obviously. And stand by for the things I'm going to do to try and help the community, and new products, and some other things I have in the works that I can't talk about yet. But some exciting stuff I think is coming down the pipe. So I will definitely keep you guys updated on that as well. Have a good one, and thank you for stopping by. I'll see you around.